Most of the time they notice, not always. Does this mean I've had children spit toothpaste on my knitwear? Yes, it does. Hello, fiber friends. Today we are talking about holiday gifts for knitters. So if that sounds like it'll be of interest to you, I hope you'll stick around. Hello, knitting friends, and welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Kristen, and today we are talking about holiday gifts for knitters. And I am holding this because I cannot figure out how to clip it on without it doing that. I don't know. I guess that's okay. All right. What I'm wearing is my Isle pullover by Brianna Mason. Very nice and cozy and warm. So whether you are shopping for a knitter or you are a knitter looking for some things to put on your wish list because people keep asking what you want, today I'm going to be sharing 10 great gift ideas, in my humble opinion, for the knitter in your life or yourself. So I am not being paid to promote any of these products, but I do have affiliate links for some of them. And if you shop through that link, I get a little kickback and it is greatly appreciated because it goes to support the channel. The first thing I want to say about gifts for knitters, unless you know your knitter really, really well, yarn is actually not a great gift unless they specifically give you a kind, a name, a color, an amount. Buying yarn at random is usually not a good idea. If you want to gift yarn, a gift card to a yarn shop, either a local yarn shop in your area or an online yarn shop like Wool & Company, Ritual Dyes, Knit Picks, something like that, would be a better idea. So, knitters, unless you're really, really sure, it's not a great idea to get them yarn. But I've got a lot of other good ideas for you. Let's start off with something that we all need more of, which is a project bag. Especially this time of year, we have so many projects going. We're running out of bags to put them in. I have run out of bags to put mine in. So a good project bag is a great choice. Now, there are a lot of them out there. You can go on Etsy and find them. But the one I specifically want to tell you about is the Knitting and Crochet Project Tote Bag in Duck Canvas from Artifact. So I really love this one as a nice big project bag, big enough to hold a sweater in a really sturdy fabric. So it says a classically styled canvas and vegan tan leather knitting crochet project bag designed to stay upright. This is really key for me personally for my project bags. Unless I'm talking about something for a sock or something, I want them to stay upright so I can put them next to me on the floor and I can knit. Roomy front and side pockets and grommets for the yarn. So that means that you can pass the yarn through to prevent it getting tangled, which can be helpful, for example, for color work so that your yarns don't end up getting tangled up. Not a necessity, but it's a nice addition. So it said veg tan leather. I think that means vegetable tanned, but real leather. Pretty sure. So this is available for $118, which is a little bit of a splurge, but this is a nice, sturdy project bag that's going to last a long time, I think. It comes in a variety of colors. So we've got bright colors, we've got darker colors, we've got neutrals. There are a few limited edition colors. Really love this. And if your knitter likes to have coordinating accessories, it has a bunch of matching things to go with it: zip pouch, yarn tender, stitch counters, etc., etc. So I personally think this is a great choice. This is going to hold at least one big sweater project, if not more. It's going to be sturdy, it's going to last a long time, and you can even add a monogram if you want. So I think this one is a great choice. And this would work for a crocheter in your life as well. Basically anybody, a crafty person who carries around yarn and other things with them to complete their projects, this is going to be a great choice. So again, that one is the Knitting and Crochet Project Tote Bag from Artifact. Everything I'm talking about will be linked in the description box down below. Another more practical gift, I think, is going to be some kind of needle organizer. Now, Thread and Maple makes a beautiful needle organizing binder. It is very expensive, so A lot of people have been recommending that in these kind of videos recently, and I agree, it's a beautiful choice, but it's a little pricey. So what I want to recommend is something a little more low-key, but still nice, a kind of classy, refined option, and that is the Project 66 Fixed Circular Needle Organizer from Redesigned. So, like some of the other very popular organizers, this is a leather. It comes in lots of different kinds of leather. It is specifically for fixed circular needles. So even those of us who have interchangeables also usually have some fixed circulars. So in particular for me, I have a fair number of 16-inch circular needles for hats. Also, sometimes we get a one-off, like we need a really big, circular needle size, 15. That kind of size needle tip doesn't necessarily go with our interchangeable sets. So we end up just buying a one-off. So while not everyone will need a fixed circular organizer, for those who do, I think this is a nice choice. All of the different needle sizes are sort of embossed on the leather, so you're not getting, you can organize them by size, you can see what you've got at a glance, but it also folds up really nicely, so it's not taking up a bunch of room, or just like, I've seen some organizers that hang up, and you could hang this one up if you like, but for me, I think I would feel like that was very messy and cluttered, and I would rather have it folded up and kept out of the way. You can get it in different colored leather. It goes all the way up to, it looks like, a US 13, so it has both the US and the metric measurements for your needle sizes, and this retails for 50 euros or 58 US dollars. And of course, this company has lots of other different kinds of organizers and things like that. Some of them are a little bit pricier, some of them are a little bit more affordable, with this one kind of right in the middle, and it's a nice option for those fixed circulars. So again, that is the Project 66 organizer from Redesigned. All right, this next one I have some reservations about, but you can't deny how cute it is. This is the gauge wheel, which is available from Katrinkles for $22. And I love the theory behind this, which is that you just spin it around until the little zigzaggies on the wheel match your stitches, and then you know what your gauge is. You don't have, so you're not counting, you're not measuring, you just have this little wheel. Now, I will be the first one to argue that a larger gauge swatch and counting your gauge over a full 4 inches, if not more, is going to give you a more accurate gauge, because it's going to average out your stitch gauge. However, I feel like if you try this on like different parts of your swatch, don't just bang it on there once and be like, okay, this is it. If you check it on different parts of your swatch, this is probably going to give you a pretty good idea of your gauge, and it's just really cute. This is it's a wooden gauge wheel. It goes up to, let's see. So it looks like it goes from 4 stitches to the inch up to 8.5 stitches to the inch, which, is not going to cover every single project, but is going to cover probably the vast majority of projects. We're not, generally speaking, knitting tighter or looser than that. So I just think this is a really cute option. Easy to, it's very portable, easy to have with you, throw it in your project bag, easy to, as you're knitting, check and make sure that your gauge is remaining consistent. So we're not always going to stop what we're doing, lay our knitting out flat, go find the tape measure, measure 4 inches, etc., etc. But we can pop this on our knitting project pretty quickly and just double check that our gauge is maintaining, or we are maintaining our gauge. So while I have a little bit of reservations about it, I do think it's a really cute idea, and then maybe a nice little stocking stuffer for you or the knitter in your life. So again, that is the gauge wheel from Katrinkles. And of course, Katrinkles has lots of other knitting accessories as well that pretty much any knitter is going to love. All right, friends, this next product I was gifted by Bob and Brad to try, but I get a lot of weird collaboration offers for this channel. So I hope you'll trust me when I tell you that if it didn't have anything to do with knitting or I didn't like it, I wouldn't be on here talking about it. You've never seen me trying to shill an exercise bike to you because that's just not relevant. But this thing actually is. And it's a great idea for the knitter in your life who needs a little self-care time, which frankly is all of us because we stay up too late knitting just one more row. And then all of a sudden it's 3 o'clock in the morning and we're knitting a cabled sweater in black yarn in dim light and our eyes are tired. So this eye massager, I actually think is a great idea. I have been using it since it arrived and it is so fun. It is so relaxing. It has two different options. You can use them both, one or the other. So there is air pressure, which kind of massages around the eye socket and up into the temples, which is the part I really like. A really nice pressure on the temples. And it also has heat, which especially this time of year can be very calming and soothing. And it also has music. Now the music is a little like Enya, day spa, woo woo, which is, if you like it, is great. We all kind of maybe enjoy that sometimes. If not, it also has Bluetooth, so you can pair it with your phone and then listen to your own music. So as I said, I have been using this. I have found it really relaxing. I personally find the high heat but the low pressure to be the best settings for me. I think probably as you use it and get used to the pressure, you might want to bump it up, but you would definitely want to start out with the lowest pressure, which is the default setting anyway. Charges with a USB cord, very convenient. I would definitely recommend. So the strap is adjustable and you actually want to probably put it tighter than you think because of the weight of the mask. It's going to want to pull down. So you want to make sure you have this pretty tight in order to keep it right in place where you want it on your eyes. But once you've got things set up, this is actually very relaxing and I have really been enjoying using it. So as I said, this was gifted to me by Bob and Brad to try out, but I have really enjoyed it, and I think you or the knitter in your life also will. So if you click the link in the description box, that is an affiliate link, and I will get a little commission, but I have a coupon code for you, so you can save 10% on your purchase as well. So that is the eye massager from Bob and Brad. I don't know who Bob and Brad are, but I think this is a great idea for knitters regardless. So definitely check that one out. Speaking of self-care, you know, knitters, especially this time of year, are spending a lot of time making things for other people often. And even if we're not knitting things for other people, we're probably cooking for other people, buying presents for other people, planning a magical Christmas or other holiday for other people, especially if we're moms. And we could use something pretty in our lives. So the heather earrings from Birdie Parker Designs, I think, are just darling. Now I have several of her pieces of jewelry. I don't have this one in particular. Probably this one's going to go on my wish list. She has lots of bracelets, earrings, necklaces, rings, lots of knitting themed jewelry that is just so pretty. So this particular one comes in both copper and sterling silver. The copper is $67. The sterling silver is $82. And these are for pierced ears. I just think they're so pretty. Now, when I was looking on her website the other day to put together this list, the price kept coming up really weird. It was like hundreds and hundreds. And I thought that was very odd. But for some reason, it was set on like, I don't know, some other bizarre currency that was not US and was not like anything near the US. I don't know what kind of weird glitch caused that to happen. But now that it is back in US dollars, I'm able to see the prices are a little bit of a splurge, but much more reasonable than $400 for a pair of earrings. So personally, I love the copper. I think these are adorable, but as I said, she has lots of different jewelry on her site that you can get for the knitter in your life who maybe needs something a little pretty to wear other than her hand knit sweaters. If there is one thing I know about knitters other than our love of yarn, it is that we are usually having a warm beverage, whether that is coffee or tea. Now, I personally love coffee and drinking it out of a fun mug. So this adorable knitting fuel mug, I think, is a great gift for the knitter on your list. This is from Nevernotknitting, and I believe she has like knitting fuel, crochet fuel, and like sewing fuel. So whatever your particular crafter likes best, you have options. The mug comes in two sizes. So the 11-ounce mug is $20 and the 15-ounce mug is $22. And I just think this is adorable. This little graphic here with the yarn and the scissors and the needles and all of the little knitting accessories. And certainly the coffee or tea is knitting fuel for most of us. A good knitting themed mug, there are lots of those out there, and I'm sure, you can find some lovely options on Etsy and other places, but this one in particular caught my eye from Nevernotknitting. Um, I could use some more knitting fuel or life fuel right about now. I have to get a coffee after this, but it's just adorable. This next one is back into the more practical gifts, but I promise if you have a knitter, particularly one who knits sweaters, they will love this, and that is a Strucket. And that is a straining bucket that is great for washing your hand knits because let's face it, filling up the sink and then draining it out and trying not to spill the water and then trying to, get the water out of the sweater, it's all very potentially messy and not very convenient. I can't count the number of times I've left something in the sink and then my children go in there to brush their teeth or whatever. Most of the time they notice, not always. Does this mean I've had children spit toothpaste on my knitwear? Yes, it does. It's not great. This is a better option. So as I said, the Strucket is a straining bucket. It comes in different sizes. There's mini ones, there's big ones. They're not specifically, for knitting. You can use them for other things, but for washing your hand knits, I think these are brilliant. The 19-liter, I don't know how big that is, but it sounds big, bucket, and they do come in different colors, not that that's super essential, is $60. And what I love about this one is it has a plug at the bottom. So you can fill it up, wash your stuff, pull out the straining part, let that, drip for a bit, and then you can just pull the plug and let the bucket drain back into the sink. So you're not trying to lift it up and haul the water around. Brilliant. But as I said, they have a lot of different sizes. Oh, 5 gallons. That's how big 19 liters is. It does say that. So they have a lot of different sizes, and they definitely know what is going on because they specifically have a section that says use fiber artists. Despite its utilitarian nature, I think is going to be a popular gift with any knitter. Personally, I do want one of these myself. I think that would make my life much easier, especially this time of year. Even if you're not finishing knits, it's about the time maybe you want to do a wash on your sweaters. And this is just going to make that so much easier and more convenient. So again, that is the Strucket. There are lots of different sizes, but I think that 19-liter, 5-gallon one is going to be the best choice for your knitter who's got to wash her sweaters. One of my greatest ambitions is to become one of those knitters who can walk and knit at the same time. I've managed it a little bit occasionally, but it always feels a little bit awkward, and I think this would be a helpful tool to facilitate that process, and that is the Lemonwood mini yarn minders. So you can probably buy these lots of different places. Knit Picks has 5 different designs available, and by designs, it's just the aesthetic design. They all work the same way, which is that they have a wrist strap, they have a platform for your ball of yarn, and then they have a little stick that goes into the middle of your yarn, and that way you can carry your yarn around with you. If you are pulling from the outside of the ball will spin around and wind off as you're knitting, and it is much easier for you to walk and knit at the same time. As I said, this is very kind of specific to maybe knitters who do want their yarn and their project to be portable and maybe knitting while they're walking or doing other things. If you know that your knitter is not super interested in that, this is not going to be as applicable, but I do think it is a good choice. for when we have projects on the go, which is often, you know, especially maybe you're riding the subway, you have to stand, you don't have a seat, you can still have your knitting. And as I said, there are 5 different designs: floral, autumn trees, daisies, mid-century modern, and yarn balls. So they are all adorable, unique, and practical at the same time. So I just think the mini minder, as I said, if your knitter is on the go, is going to be a really cute choice. These are available from Knit Picks for $40. And it says they are made in Tucson, Arizona with natural birch plywood. This next one I think would make a cute stocking stuffer if you are a knitter or have a knitter who enjoys color work. And that is the Pacific Knit Company Doodle card decks. Now she has a bunch of these and she also has expansion packs. So I'm going to show you specifically the Winter Doodle card deck. And this is basically a way to kind of mix and match colorwork stitch patterns to make pretty much anything, but to kind of put together, mix and match your own designs in the order that you want. So it says each deck features 51 modular mix and match motifs that let you customize your color work. And then the expansion packs add 24. So the full pack is 28. I don't know what the expansion pack is. Let me see if I can click through and find an expansion pack to tell you. Okay, so 28. Camping. Okay, the expansion packs are 24. And I just think this is adorable. It's a really fun way to make color work sort of more fun, more interactive. You can take your little cards and mix them all up and put together your own sweater or cowl. And I know that the person who designed this, whose name is probably not Pacific Knit Company, but an actual name, she also has some basic sort of blank slate patterns that you can put these into. And as I said, I'm showing you the winter doodle, but there's tons of them. She's got tons. There's an autumn doodle. There's a camping doodle expansion pack. There's a basic, starter doodle set, holiday doodle. So she's got pretty much everything, anything you could want. And you get this little deck of cards and you can just mix and match them. So I think that is adorable. And again, easy to sneak into a stocking. So if you know that your knitter likes to do color work, I think that would be a good choice. So that again are the doodle card decks from Pacific Knit Company, and they're $28. All right, and then last we have a festive little option that is connected to a bigger option. So specifically, I'm going to show you these Rudolph and Friends stitch markers. I love Rudolph. I still watch all of the classic like 60s, Charlie Brown, The Grinch, the Rudolph, all of those original cartoons. I love them. That's what I grew up with. So I love these Rudolph and Friends stitch markers. We've got, let's see, we've got, Santa, obviously. Rudolph, it looks like we have Clarice, Yukon Cornelius, the Abominable Snow Monster, Hermie. We also have, and these are the ones I don't watch as much. It looks like Heatmeister and whatever the other guy's name is. I don't watch those. The other Rankin Bass stop motions. I don't watch them, but they're mostly the Rudolph characters. However, the company that makes these, which is Twin Mountain Handcrafts, has tons of stitch markers and other things on their site, all handmade. So the material, let's see, for the one I'm showing is the acrylic. They also have them in wood. The other nice thing about this, you can choose the color of your acrylics. You can see these are kind of a very snowy blue, but you can put all different colors and you can select the type of clasp. So personally, I don't like ring clasps because I find that they come loose after a while and start snagging. I like the lobster clasps, but your mileage may vary. And as I said, this company has tons of adorable stitch markers and other things that would be lovely for the knitter in your life. They have buttons, bag pins, earrings, tools, tags. I know they have something else. Shawl sandwiches, which when I saw Leslie a couple years ago at Magpie Fibers they must have had something for probably like Maryland Sheep and Wool. She was showing me how the shawl sandwiches work to kind of keep your shawls on. I think they're very clever as well. They don't have So, but they have lovely, lovely gifts for the knitter in your life. And I especially love their stitch markers. They're adorable. I have a set from them. And these do have the clasps, which I like. And it's a little, I don't know if you guys can see it. It's a little sheep. And what I really love about the set, I don't know where the rest of them are, is it's got like sheep from the side and sheep from the front, and then it has one that's sheep from the back, and it's a little sheep butt with a tail. Here it is. I am sure you cannot see that. It's hard to get the light to show you, but I'm sorry, that's hilarious. So I love their stitch markers, and I just think these Rudolph ones are so festive. Again, something you can sneak into a stocking. Perfect for the knitter in your life or you. All right, friends, there you have it. 10 gift ideas for the knitter in your life or to add to your own wish list if you are a knitter. Links for all of them are in the description box down below. And again, some of them are affiliate links. So if you shop through those, thank you so much. Please leave a comment. Tell me what's on your wish list for this holiday season. I could use some more ideas to add to mine. I always love to hear what everybody is into this time of year in terms of knitting goodies. So do leave a comment. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. If you found it useful or entertaining, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. New knitting videos here every Saturday. If you're looking for me on social media, you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Media Peruana, and I will see you soon in next week's video.